some sports?
Yes.
Let's do it. All right, switching gears. Back to school also means back to sports. And for parents and athletes, this means sacrifices, lessons learned, and memorable triumph. So a group of sports moms started the show, Can We Talk Sports, to have honest conversations, humor, and share their journey on raising young athletes. And you bring all of your different experiences to the forefront. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the conversations that you have?
We talk about the do's and the don'ts when it comes to referees. That was our favorite topic.
Oh, yes, I bet that is.
That one was a good one. We've had some refs
parents, honestly, often they're the ones that are misbehaving the most.
They see that they're relatable stories that they was like, oh, okay, I experienced that too.
What do you think actually is some of the biggest challenges that parents of sports, of athletes, are facing?
Balance. Set some boundaries and enjoy the journey.
So to have that community is so important. Now, Sonia, people know you as Big Mama. Is that right?
Yes.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to Can We Talk Sports? Yeah. Hey, you guys, tonight conversation is going to be deep. We're going to be getting into the journey behind the game. I mean, we're digging deep in there, and we're going to learn about from Little League to NFL, how these parents navigated through the different journeys. Hi, I'm Karen Reese. I'm one of your hosts today, and I am excited about our guest tonight.
Hey there, it's Nina Shea, also known as Mama Bear, and I'm excited about tonight too, because this show is about family, it's about love, it's about support, the true foundation behind the success of every athlete. Where's Big Mama?
Oh, my bad.
Go ahead.
Hey, it's Arisha, aka Icy. Sorry, I got some curls in my hair. I'm at the airport. And I'm excited about tonight. I could not miss. I'm headed to Pro Day to see my son on Thursday. So that's why my background like this.
All right.
Well, hey, y'all, this Big Mama, baby, the devil over here messing real bad with Big Mama because I put on my cute lipstick for Michael Parsons' daddy tonight, and my camera won't even come on, so I don't know what that's all about.
Oh my gosh, Big Mama is
everybody wants an NFL child, but nobody wants to talk about the sacrifice that comes with it. So, tonight, Mama Bear said that, family love and support. So let's get into it. Let's talk about it. And also, I want to tell everybody, don't forget to like, share, follow Can We Talk Sports on Facebook and YouTube. Your support helps us keep spotlighting the community stories like this one on tonight.
All right, let's have a little fun before we get into this.
Hey, let me tell you.
Big Mama, You're muted. Let's go. Let me hear what you got to
No,
say.
I know that I'm muted. I absolutely don't know what is going on with my camera, but don't worry, I'll be back because I got these, the black job computer too. I might turn it on. I don't know. I'm just saying, I got it if I need it. But so listen, it is Women History Month, and so I just want to shout out to the coach Don Staley.
Yes.
She is doing her thing. She is making history. The love that she gave to Southern University women's basketball team was amazing to me. They call her Louis Vuitton Don, and that's just what she did. She gave out those Louis Vuitton samples to those girls and just gave them a little love, came and watched them play their ball. Even though she, whooped them real good when she got to them on Saturday night, but still,
Didn't she?
the night
She always
before,
was good.
she was there looking on, supporting them, and that meant the world to those girls. So, shout out to Southern U. HBCUs are alive and well. So I just want to give a good shout out to her doing this Women History Month. Keep doing your thing, Sarah. You are on top of the world. Keep having the uncommon favor that you speak so much about. I'm gonna find my camera because, baby, I'm finna look Michael Parson Daddy in his eye. Hold on.
Oh, we got to make sure.
So that's all Big Mama has for you on this evening. Just want to shout out those going to the big dance, all of the teams, but especially to those at the HBCU. I am a proud woman of color to see them advancing like this. So shout out to them and go do your big thing, Dawn. All right, that's all I have tonight.
Well, can I just add to that since I'm here I'm in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and
Okay.
we gotta give it to the girls over there at Winston-Salem State. They did their thing too, and because it is Women's History Month, we definitely want to shout out also to Coach Tiara Terry because
Yeah.
they really did make a big splash, and I so appreciate all of the women coaches. I know we're talking to our dads tonight, but for this moment, I want to make sure that we give a shout out to them.
Yes, I know. I was like, okay, Friday night, I'm finna go sit down and watch Southern play. And I was like, come on, y'all, come on. I just really wanted to be a good game. But I'm so glad that they made it to the main stage. You know what I'm saying? The big, where millions of people were watching, Prairie View, where a million people were watching. And so I just believe it's the come up. They finna come back. We're gonna see more and more of them in these major, games on these major networks. So I was really proud of that. Yes. Okay. So, Miss Nita, you want to introduce our guest?
Okay, well, let's do this. Hold on just a second because I want to make sure that we got everybody in here. So, our first guest that we're going to be talking to tonight is Miss Nimat Abdullah. And she is a sports mom. Her son was just recently in the NFL Combine, and we wanted to talk about that experience. His name is Manny, plays at SOC. And so we definitely wanted to, talk with him and just kind of, or talk with her just to see what that experience was for her being a first time mom of a young man who got a chance to go to the Combine. And then we are also speaking to Mr. Tony Williams, who is the father of Brandon Eccles. So he's an NFL dad. Lamont Ramsey, who was the father of Jalen Ramsey, also an NFL dad, and Terrence Parsons, father of Micah Parsons. And so all of these young men are incredible athletes who are, really representing well. And we want to talk to the fathers who helped them to get to this point in their careers.
All right, welcome to the show.
Absolutely.
We'll bring the guys in once we finish talking to Miss Sports Mom. I put in the text. I said, "You a sports mom?" So tell us about who you are and what it is that you do. Can she hear me?
Can she
Hi,
hear us?
ladies.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Repeat the
We're
question,
doing
Nina.
good. So we did introduce you, and we wanted to just kind of welcome you to the show. This is a new experience for you. How's everything going with you and your son Manny, now that you've had this experience that we wanted to talk about? Since we're kind of talking about getting ready for the draft. Can you hear me, Nimat? So I don't know, Namet, maybe let's see if we can, hit your buttons a couple of times, your mic, because we're not hearing you either.
Okay. See, that's what they knew this was gonna be a great
Karen?
show. And so, huh?
Hello?
Oh, because we were hearing her earlier.
Hello, ladies.
Hey.
Can you hear either of us, love?
You can. Oh, okay. Okay then. So see if she will go out and come back in, and we'll go ahead and bring the guys on the stage because they could hear. So let's go ahead and welcome the guys to the stage. I was like, welcome to the Lioness Den. They in here with the mamas. We let the daddies in. Welcome to Can We Talk Sports. We're so excited to have you as our guest, and we finna dig right on in. Let's start with you guys introducing yourself. Mr. Lamont, start with you. Tell us who you are and what you do.
My name's Nimat Ramsey. Recently retired from the fire department after 28 years, and now
yes,
I can hear you, but I cannot hear Miss Karen.
Okay.
Karen, can you put Namet on mute for a second?
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead, Miss Ramsey.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm Lamont Ramsey, and recently retired. Now I run our family's nonprofit that helps young kids, young guys mostly, reach their life goals, and we teach them life skills and everything. So that's what I do now after retiring from the Nashville Fire Department.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay, Mr. Tony.
Unmute yourself, Mr. Tony.
How y'all doing this evening?
Good.
How are you?
I'm doing well. I am Tony Williams. I own a company called Provision House. We house men coming out of the criminal justice system. We help them reintegrate back into society. I also have pardon me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
And I also own a nonprofit, Provision House Ministries, where we go out and do outreaches, going out in the community, feeding the homeless, clothing, just all around whatever services we can provide.
All right.
Awesome. That sounds good.
How about you, Mr. Terrence?
What was the question? Because I had to log out and log back in.
Who you are and what you do?
Oh, my name is Terrence Parsons. I'm retired from doing security for the school district for 21 years, but I'm still the head varsity girls volleyball coach.
Awesome.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Look, I got to start this one question out because all of y'all said retired. Did y'all boys retire, y'all?
No, man. No, ma'am. I look. I have to. We have to tell everybody that we lived where we lived before he went in the NFL. We had nice things before he got to the league, so we have to let people know that because people get confused with that.
Yeah.
Well, you know what,
I always
Karen?
tell them, right last name, wrong first name.
Right, right, right.
I love it. Okay, so what we didn't do, and please forgive me, we did not introduce or say who the NFL sons play for. When we introduced the
Can't
fathers.
hear.
So, can you hear me? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I can hear you.
Okay. All right. So just when Karen asked if your sons had retired you, I just realized that we didn't say who your sons were. And so I just wanted to take a moment. Mr. Parsons, do you hear me okay?
Yeah, I guess on my phone line, but I can't really see.
Mr. Parsons? All
Mr.
right. Well,
Terrence,
I'm going
can you hear
to
me?
go. So should we say?
Because if it comes up, I can't.
Right. That's not.
Okay. This gonna be recorded.
Let's
This gonna be a good show. Because everything is trying to stop us from digging into these conversations. So, we need to pause and pray in the name of Jesus. God, we need you to move on these airways and allow us to hear what you want these parents to say that's going to educate these parents in coming in these journeys that they're coming in. We need to hear this wisdom from these men of God, these fathers that can impart wisdom into the parents who are coming. We need to hear them. In the name of Jesus, amen.
in the name of Jesus.
Okay. So let's go ahead and start with some questions that we're going to kind of dig in. Miss Abdullah, can you hear us now?
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
So let's go ahead and start with you. Okay, before the NFL Combine did you even know what an NFL Combine was, and tell us, how you prepared your son for it?
Yes, I was familiar with the NFL Combine. Preparation started after the season ended, and he was already scheduled to start training with trainers and also track coach. So we started there as far as his physical training. But also, it was important for me that he was also mentally prepared for the NFL Combine. So I would actually do a series of meditation sessions with him, um, and just speaking positivity into him. We would have a series of conversations, just letting him know, you prepared for this most of your life. Like, this has been your dream, this has been your goal. You're ready. And I always teach my children prayer and preparation. You do as much as you can do, and then after that, you let God do the rest. So he was excited about the process. He was excited to showcase his skills and his talents at the combine. Of course, there's always some pressure that you feel. And, as a parent, you just try to alleviate that from them, right? Just like I said, constant reminders that, hey, you got this, you're prepared for this. You've been preparing for this. And just want him to be mentally prepared as well as, physically prepared. And I would go and watch him train, give him some tips, if I feel like, hey, you can go a little harder, let's go a little harder, and as far as recovery, you always want to be sure that he's recovering from, all of the training that he's doing, and then trying to keep him on a proper diet. A lot of healthy smoothies, green drinks. He's young, so of course you can't always get him to eat everything you want him to eat, but as much as possible, trying to be on a healthy diet.
Mm-hmm.
So all of that was important in going into preparing and training for the NFL Combine.
That's good. You say you be going to the practices, so you be evaluating, be like, okay, you need to go hard over here. You need to
That's how she
switch here, switch here.
I did. Cause the NFL Combine, that's the biggest interview you're gonna have, pretty much, So yeah, I wanted to make sure that he was, his form, he was practicing and preparing for that interview. Yes. I went to his training practices. I would go out to the track because he was training with the track coach as well. And so yeah, I would go.
That's a mama that's involved. That's a real sports mama right there.
Absolutely. So I have a quick question for you. Did you play sports yourself?
Miss Abdul, Nina said, did you play sports?
I was not a sports girl, no, but I was born in Florida, raised in Texas. So, Florida, you gonna race. Everybody races, the street races, all kind of races. But I was not an athlete like us. No, I wasn't.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh, go ahead. So some of your dads can you kind of give Miss Nimat some advice as far as what's coming up, pro day, anything that you can share with her that she might needs to know in the process that she's about to under care. Can y'all hear? Mr. Tony?
Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to experience that with Brandon because he it was during COVID, so I don't know if they had they had a combine. He did a pro day, and then the week he was preparing for the pro day, I had some issues with my health, and I had to go in and have my heart checked. I was actually doing a stress test as he was doing the combine, so that added even more stress because my other kids were there on the phone telling me what he's doing, what he's running, so that was even more stressful. So I didn't really get a chance to experience that with him. I hate I missed that moment, but I know I understand what she's going through. It's stressful. That's a stressful time because, like she said, that's one of the biggest interviews they're going to have. So you definitely want them to do well, perform well. Yeah, that's a stressful time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Miss Lamont, Mr. Terrence, you guys want to come in on that?
I'll say so. My situation was a little bit different. My son came back home and trained with me. I ran my own performance training company for 21 years. So he came back here with me, and at his choosing, we looked at some of the other training companies and we didn't really like them because there was so many guys they had together for an 8 to 10 week period that we felt like they wouldn't be able to specialize. And he was a 2-sport athlete in college anyway, so he was already in shape. But he came back home, trained with me. I dialed in everything, and we went to the combine from that point. So
that's good. That's good.
I got to go to my son's pro day. I didn't hear because a lot of stuff was going out. What position does her son play?
Miss Abdullah, which position your son play? I think he's on defense.
He is. He's a cornerback.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. He plays cornerback.
Okay, so my son was a linebacker and a DM. Well,
which is a defensive back. Yes.
Yeah, so my son was a linebacker. So for him, with only playing 2 years and starting 1 year, his focus was speed. So he was more focused on his 40 time. If he could run a 4.3 or faster, he knew his way to the draft was going to be real good. So strength is the key too. So they always tell you, is minimums. There's never a maximum, but there's a level you at least want to get to, so they keep looking at you. So he made sure he hit them levels. Somebody did a little bit more, but his focus was the 40-yard time, man. He ran a 4.39. So after that, everything got bright for him.
Okay.
Wow. I just want to comment on one thing you said. He played 2 years, but started 1 year. So, did you ever experience having to encourage him about playing time? Because that's something that we as moms and a lot of moms reach out to us talking about that. And I actually have one mom whose son high school, and he's dealing with some mental illness, some mental stress because he did not get that playing time. Can you kind of help us as parents how we should look at that?
Yeah. So in my case,
Is
I
that
was lucky.
question for me?
It can be for you too, both of
Oh,
y'all. When Mr. Terrence was starting, then Miss
oh,
Abdullah,
Mr.
you can do.
Terrence. Okay. I wasn't sure who the question is for. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. You can question. You can do it too because you was at South Oak Cliff. Okay, Mr.
So,
Terrence.
so Micah, he started all his life, both sides of the ball, never came off the field. So my main thing, when he got to Penn State, they told him he was going to transition from defensive end to linebacker. So my whole thing was, is he going to play? And they said, as long as he do what he's supposed to do, he's going to play. So the first game they played, they blew somebody out. I think he might have got 18 snaps, and he was so upset. He didn't care about the win. He was so upset that he didn't play more than 19 snaps. But LeVar Arrington, who played at Penn State, played in the NFL, that's his mentor. And he had called him. He told him, he's like, what are you upset about? He said, at least you got to play as a true freshman. He said, what I need you to do is stop crying, keep playing, and let the media talk for you. And depending on where you go, that's a big thing. Like I always tell parents, when you think about going to school, just know what they told me was anything outside of 5 hours is not considered a home school. So that means you got to be the dog if you want to get some playing time. So when you go too far, it doesn't work for you sometimes unless you that guy. You got to wait and wait. And if you're a kid that want to play right away, you got to start thinking about close to home. Sometimes kids think about national championships, but are you playing? And I feel like it should be a mental counselors available for these kids because when they're used to playing all the time and get to college, they're not playing. It's definitely stressful and it's definitely mental. And then some kids don't know how to stay in there and grind. They want to just hop out and hit the portal and see if they go play somewhere else instead of going through the grind, becoming that guy and playing where you committed to from day one.
But
That's
can I
good.
also add that, may I add that the way it is set up now, I mean, we're looking at the fact that, not only are you a student, but you want to play, but you also are entering into a contract where it is a business as well. And so I've seen in some cases where, like you said, you want to commit and you want to get out there and earn that spot. And that means you got to work, you got to be diligent, you got to be patient, and be that dog. But there are going to be times when sometimes I think a program just really it's not the right fit. And it seems like sometimes you can make an adjustment. You might have to make an adjustment. You might have to hop into that portal and get to a program that really is going to utilize a person with your skill and especially in your position. What do you think about that?
Can I say something?
I believe in that. I
Hello?
guess I'm just so old school sometimes, and it's definitely about the money. So I know a kid, I felt like he should have went somewhere else, but he went to another school for the money. I'm hoping it works out. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Because the school you went to, your position, they're not known for getting people to the next level in your position. But you went after the money. So sometimes that money lures you. But then if the NFL is your ultimate goal, you got to look at the position you play and then start following the steps of who's there, who's coming, who's leaving. That plays a big part. But you're right. Like our quarterback at Penn State, he left a year ago. He went to Missouri. He got 1.5 million. Yeah. And he was a starter, you know what I mean? But he navigated for 2 years. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Behind somebody. So at least he got to show his talent and they knew
Right.
they was going to play him. Some kids leave without even getting a chance to play. So you only
Right.
got enough tape to come into a new program and jump in front of somebody. At
Right.
least get a body of work If you got a body of work, yeah, but if you didn't play your first year, okay, you're leaving, but you got nothing to show. Again, unless you that dog, you know what I mean? You gotta at least grind to get that body of tape. That's what I feel. Unless somebody's coming in telling you, hey, you come in right now, we're paying you and you're gonna play. But then sometimes that's not even true. They just want you in their program.
Right.
That's true. That's true. Mr.
All right.
Ramsey,
Yeah.
saying you
Can you
wanted to
hear
say
me?
something?
Can you hear
Yeah.
me? Okay, so first I was going to say, like, I do agree with Mr. Parsons about the farther your kid goes away, sometimes he don't get the look. My son went away 7.5 hours. He plays defensive back also. He went to a team that had just won the Orange Bowl, had everybody back except for one guy, and they did at Florida State. They had a sports psychologist on staff, and I can tell you. My son is what I call hyperactive, and I'm gonna be the man regardless of where I go. He had teams that offered him to come in and you can play right away. He picked the team that the coach said, "I'm gonna give you a chance to compete." Um, he went in as a true freshman and started on the national championship team. No one else has done that at Florida State except for Deion Sanders. So he gets that comparison a lot because that's what he did. But I agree with Mr. Parsons in the fact that now kids don't even give it a chance. They don't play the first year and they're out. What if Michael Parsons would have been out that first year? He stuck it out. He went through some adversity. He was still the number 4 pick when his time came.
12.
Number
12 pick. So think about that, man. I mean, it's some kid who jumped for the money. And probably some of them not playing. I know a kid right now from my area who's been on 3 teams, started on all of them, but jumped again this year. He's on his 4th team in college. And he's going to be what he's going to be. He's a role player. So he's just jumping around to get money. And that's probably going to be all the money that he gets when it's said and done. So I would say there's nothing wrong with a little adversity and some kids sticking it out and toughing it out. Life is not going to be that way. What if they get to the NFL and they get you only there? The average kid is there 3 years. It's 100 kids on a college team. There's only 53 on the NFL team. The math don't math. They're not going. Everybody not going to be there long or at all. So.
Okay.
So,
Mr. Tony, did you have something?
I was just gonna say, with Brandon, it was a different. He had to take a different route. He had to go JUCO first. He went to local JUCO here. We live in South Haven, Mississippi, so he went to Northwest. Did 2 years there. He started, established his name there, grinded it out there, and then Kentucky picked him up. He went to Kentucky and was able to start there as well. I think it was a blessing because the NIL thing wasn't really it kicked in a year after he left. I think that would have made a difference if that would have kicked in while he was at Kentucky. I'm kind of glad that then they gave him a chance to stay focused, grind more, and be more. He grinded more. He's always wanted to play in the league, so that kept him focused. And not being, and I think, if that money would have been waged in the States, probably would have jumped to another team and jumped to this team wherever the money was. But I'm glad it wasn't like that. So he was able to stay focused and grind more at Kentucky. And like the other gentleman said, like Terrence and Lamont said, him being able to go farther away, it gave him a chance to see. At Kentucky, you playing with kids come from all over the state, all over the United States. So you really had to grind and you want to start. You had to really show you could hold down that spot. And he did for those 2 years he was there.
That's good. Miss Abdullah, what surprised you about the process of the NFL Combine that maybe you didn't know about, that your son said, "Mama, they did this, they did."
Let me see what surprises. I would say he was surprised about some of the process. I would say some of the details of the process. Just them being extremely thorough. All of the testing you have to do. But I don't think there was much that surprised me, to be honest, because I mean, I feel like, we've watched the NFL Combine for years, but I guess I would say just little things that he just wasn't, you know, uh, didn't know that they may, uh, test him on. But other than that, I wouldn't say that there were any real surprises.
Did he say he answered the questions they asked, the mental part? Did y'all practice that kind of stuff?
We did not practice that, but he did pass all of his testing. But no, we didn't. I mean, like I said, wanted to prepare him just to be mentally strong by doing some meditation. But no, we didn't practice like the mental testing and things of that nature. So yeah, I think that would be, the most surprising thing. Some of the things that they have you do. But outside of that, I don't think I was really surprised by anything else.
So I have a quick question for Ms. Abdullah. Um, if you could go back, is there anything you would change about how you got from where you started to where you are now?
Um, Anything I would change? I think it's just a journey. I can't say that, because it's like if you go back and change this, then would this have happened? I think that's just a part of the journey, right? When you have a child that has been gifted with a talent and, they know from a very early age what they want to do, you just try to do everything you can to support them. Anything different? Um, I don't know what we could have done differently, honestly. I just think it's just a process, it's a journey. You support your children, you pray your way through, you try to consult and take with, as parents with your child, maybe with some family members that may have gone through some similar situations, and you just move accordingly. Um, So
Yeah.
I don't know that there would be anything different. I think this is just a part of his journey, a part of
Yeah,
our journey, a part of the journey.
certainly.
I
Okay.
got the $100,000 question for you, Miss Abdullah.
And what's the $100,000 question?
Are you having a draft party and is the girlfriend sitting on the couch?
So we are gonna plan to have a draft party, and the parents will be on the side of our child.
That is the most talked about thing, does the kids his mama first or his girlfriend?
Yeah, Karen,
Oh
I
my
think the
goodness.
ladies learned after the situation with what's his name from the Cowboys, my boy. Remember when his girlfriend tried to take his phone and
Oh,
CD Lamb, and he was not having it. I think after that, I think all the young ladies, they behaved
they got in place.
accordingly. I think so.
I want to, before we move on to something else, I want to go back to Mr. Ramsey real quick. He said something real interesting about everybody chasing the money, and and that's what NIL has become. How do you even change the mindset? You have these boys um, from somebody. I think Mr. Tony said it first. Hey, we had some stuff for the boy even went to the NFL. We was all right, but how do you change that mindset for somebody that they trying to make it for mama? They trying to get this money, and it's by any means necessary. What does that look like from the mentor perspective to change that mindset about everything
Man,
being about money?
I'm an inner city product myself. I played college ball. Both of my sons played college ball. And we're under the mindset the money will come if you're prepared and you do the work. If you're just chasing the money, eventually you're going to fall short because that's all you're after is the money. But like she was saying earlier, she said have her son prepared. When we went to the combine at the time, my son was the highest draft pick that did every drill at the combine. And he was the number 5 pick. But we didn't dodge anything. We were prepared. He did the running, the jumping, the pulling. And actually, to be honest with you, he didn't even have to do a pro day, but he did it because he knew every team was going to come so his teammates could be seen. So he did the pro day just to get more people to come to the school. But if you're only chasing the money, if you do a good job, the money gonna come. I promise you it will. Because when you make it to the NFL, if you don't do a good job, you're gone. If you do a good job, guess what? You get a second contract, which is a big contract. Then you get a third contract, which is a big contract. And it keeps going because you live on the merit. You live on the merit. And you get the millions when you live on the merit.
Can I want to elaborate on when people talk about chasing the money for NIL. So my son was one of them that did not chase the money, right? Which is his skill set, as far as we're concerned, that he's really good, that it was gonna, pay for itself at the end of the road. However, in the midst of it, he let me budget the little bit of money that he got. He didn't care. He wanted the opportunity. However, when I got ready for pro day, like here just recently for pro day prep, the thing that I do regret that I think that people don't consider to make sure you are at least getting enough money to figure out who's gonna pay for pro day prep. As he was getting certain money, I was putting it up, just making sure. I mean, my kid didn't even hit 6 figures while he was in college, and he been in there from the heart of the COVID and all of that. So he didn't get the big money and all that stuff, but when he did get offered whatever the biggest was, it still wasn't. It was enough to get by. However, it was enough to still put a little bit in savings. But at the end of the day, it was never enough. And I mean, I've just learned to maybe even advise people when you budgeting and put money to the side for your kids, if they don't have an agent that's willing to pay for all the expenses that come with preparing for the draft, stop telling people stop chasing the money to a certain extent, because you need to make enough money to live, survive off of, but also to prepare for the draft. If you don't have the proper training for the draft, now you're going out here, or not even a draft, but the pro day. I'm sorry. Like, what do? You just going, you winging it with somebody who thinks because they were good in high school they can train you, but they don't know the process. So thankfully, an agent saw my son out at the Star, playing, actually being one of the receivers to catch a ball for the quarterbacks for the Shrine Bowl. And she stepped up and she like, who is your agent? Because he impressed into all the scouts up there. And she was just an angel. And she took it upon herself, I'm going to invest in you. Is your pro day paid? I put my kids' pro day on a firm. Like, we still making payments for it. But she started taking over like the rest of her pro day because we had to get him the proper training. So I just think that people have to consider.
What all comes involved? You keep saying having the money for pro day, and that may be something in the background that parents don't know.
If you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
my first son, he was so talented, they just covered it. The other one, he talented too, but he didn't have the same opportunities coming out like he did. But pro day can be as much as $30,000 for those 8 weeks. I mean, and that go for guys that aren't local. Thankfully, most of the highest recognized trainers are right here in Dallas. And Jordan's been training with David Robinson since he was 9 years old, following his big brother around. And when he was playing as DB, he was training with Clay Mack. They knew him when they had maybe 5 clients. So thankfully, those guys was like, "Oh, you good?" Along with another conditioning trainer at Adlet Sports, he gave us the best plan he could, because they got to pay every guy there. Like, they got to pay the strength and conditioning guy. They got to pay the nutritionist. They got to pay the skills guy. So it's a lot. And if a parent does not know about that, then figuring out what in the crap. You don't know if you don't know. Thankfully, I'm kind of around people who do it. You know, David Wells is my son mentor. You know, he has helped us get through some of this process. So you gotta, like, people say that, but you gotta make sure a kid is getting enough that when this is over and said and done, if your kid don't turn out to be one of the top 100 getting drafted, ain't nobody coming out their pocket in their agency to pay for his expenses and pro day stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
I
I learned
I
something
I'm,
agree. I
today.
agree. I agree with some of that, but here's the reality of it.
mhm,
The higher you are, the more perks you get. That's true,
right.
and
That's true.
everything's negotiable. But at the same time, with a lot of this money that these kids are getting, they ain't
Mm-hmm.
trying to put that for no pro day. That's going to
Right.
cars and jewelry and all that. And
Right.
I'm just gonna keep
That's
it
true.
real.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. I know that
you
for a
know,
fact.
then on
Right.
the
Yeah.
back end, they want somebody to supplement them because I trained for 21 years. I've had multiple first rounders that I've trained, and
Uh
Mm-hmm.
huh.
I've never had one parent come to me and say my kid ain't worth jack. Everybody always told me how good their kids were. Then when they didn't make it, it was somebody else's fault. But the kid didn't have the discipline, or the family didn't have the discipline.
Right.
Let's keep it real.
Yeah.
The kids
Oh,
sometimes
I
fault
like
wasn't
that,
the
Ramsey.
one.
I like that. The family didn't have
Right.
the discipline.
Yes.
Mm.
That
Mm-hmm.
makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
A
The
big
That's the
difference.
truth.
family.
When people start getting money out of these agencies and
Right.
they going to do all this foolishness, and you got to pay that money back. Thank God, my kid wasn't no blingy. He ain't. All he care about is some football. He
Mm-hmm.
eat,
Right.
sleep, and drink football. And he done had a hard
Hey,
journey getting there. I'm headed to his pro day now. Well, that's Thursday at Texas Tech, but it's been a journey, and he been locked in.
man, I've been blessed to be around Tony and Mr. Parsons, man. And like they said at
Oh,
the
I think my
beginning,
phone went out.
get one of the
Hold
best
on,
things
y'all. I gotta go
about
through the
us.
chat. I'm gonna scan my. Okay.
One of the best things was that, like Mr. Parsons says, right last name, wrong first name. So
Right.
Mm.
we didn't have that stress because we already had established this, you know. So our team was already tight. I talked to Mr. Parson before he was picking an agent. Me and him talked once or twice. So it's just getting the right people around you, making sure your team is tight and vetting
Mm-hmm.
everybody. Even when they make it to the league, everybody gets checked still. So
Right.
uh,
Right.
but you just can't. I mean, when I say chasing the money, you know, people gonna do what they want to do. But I've always found that the ones when I say chasing the money, I'm talking about strictly moving just because somebody offered you a little bit more money. You had a good thing
Right.
here, and you moved because
Right.
they offered you another 250,000.
Right.
After you get taxed, it ain't even 250,000. You know, somebody needs to sit them down
Right.
and let them know.
If they pay tax.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they gonna pay back.
The tax lady.
Uncle
Oh
Sam
yeah.
forget his.
That's the
Yes,
tax lady
sir.
speaking.
Right. So I have a question I kind of would like to. Everything that you gentlemen said just makes, everybody has such, valid and valuable points and pieces of advice. And one of the things that I was thinking about as Miss Abdullah spoke, just the fact that there wasn't anything that she wasn't really prepared for, but she did try to prepare her son as best as possible for the combine. So, to get to the draft, one of the things that I was thinking about is that I had spoken to a mother whose son is presently a standout in college. However, he didn't have a great combine, like his numbers and however things just kind of unfolded. I'm not sure about the interviews, but they were very disappointed. He was very disappointed. Obviously, it wasn't as impressive. And then she feels that disappointment also. I was just wondering, because it doesn't mean that he's not a good player. So you gentlemen, like you have Micah went in the first round, and then you have Jalen that went in the fifth round, correct?
No.
First round.
Okay, so I'm
Jalen went
sorry.
in the first round. He was the
Jalen
fifth
went in the
pick.
first round, and then Micah went in the first round as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
and then Brandon, Mr. Williams.
Brandon didn't go to the last round. He was number 200.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
this is what I wanted to get at. Just because it looks one way today doesn't mean that's the way it's going to be tomorrow. So when you were speaking about, these guys going out and putting the work in and sticking with it and taking themselves from, where they are now to where they want to be, what words of advice do you have for guys who are, they're fighting a fight, right now, and maybe they're not that standout number one guy? How do you keep them grounded? How does a parent keep them grounded and focused and positive?
Well, I'm gonna start real quick. So for me, you got to be a student of the game, on the field and off the field. And what impressed me about Micah was when we was out in California training, and he was doing the interviews with teams. They had a board up with defensives up there, and he had to describe what the defense was and what everybody had to do. After he interviewed that way, he had to draw his own board and put a defense up and say what he had to do with the man behind him to the left or right. I didn't know, even though you played one position, you really had to know what the other 10 people behind you was doing. So I'm just sitting here in the kitchen in awe, like, yo, he's a student of the game. You just don't learn that. You gotta question, ask people. Now, when coaches tell me he comes to the locker room after the games and want to talk, he was training for the next level. So if his pro day wasn't good, his interview was excellent. So he still got a shot. You see what I'm saying? So being a student of the game and know what's going on all the way around really improved my son's stock besides his 40 time. So that's what I would tell him, be as good on the field and off the field. Know the game, know the position, know everybody around you.
And Mr. Ramsey, I'm sorry, I know your son went number 5, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Ramsey did, yeah.
Yes, he was number 5, not 5th round, but the 5th pick. So what do you have to say, for, guys to just keep focused and just know that, okay, you have the combine and you have pro day, but then, how do you stay just focused on the actual draft?
That's exactly what I say that all the time. Just stay focused. Keep the main thing the main thing. Stay focused. Don't get distracted. Don't get discouraged. You're about to go in a profession where every day they're looking for someone to take your position, someone who they can pay a little less money to do the same job you do. So that's one of those things, like Mr. Parson was saying. Last year, somebody told me, they was like, man, your son had a down year. I said, not really. I said, in some games, and Tony, because our sons play on the same team. Some days Jalen would play at safety, nickel, and outside corner all in one game. So he had to know all of those positions, make the calls in one game. So you got to have a football IQ. You got to take care of your body. I look at his house, man. His house looked like a rehab facility. You got to take care of your body. You got to eat right. I mean, these guys don't play. This is their livelihood. They eat, sleep, and drink this stuff. If you want to be the best at it, if you want to stay around a long time, we were joking the other day. My son's been there. He's going on year 11. They call him OG in the locker room now. He's like, man, I'm 31. They calling me OG. So, this is something that you got to love it, man. You got to love it. And he's never just chased the money, but guess what? He's always got the money.
Okay.
So,
okay, then.
And Tony?
You froze, Big Mama. I want to ask the guys or all the guests on the panel, what advice would you give a parent that's just starting out? When we were young, and not my age, but we was playing sports to have fun. Now we're having to teach these kids that it's a business now. You have parents right now, they're marketing their 7-8-year-old, training and building up this whole momentum of their identity, branding, and all that kind of stuff. So what kind of advice would you give parents today starting out as far as how to prepare for this journey? Ms. Abdullah, you can start.
I would say, of course, support your children. I think the earlier you can start with branding, I would say do so. Try to get a team together and move in that direction, because at the end of the day, it is gonna be a business. It is a business. Um, and just support them and try to get the right team and the right people around you, so that you all can be successful.
That's good. What about you, Mr. Terrence?
Don't rush nothing. I see a lot of parents. See, now in this era, it's a monopoly. Like they got these little league players traveling to West Virginia, to South Carolina. Parents is paying thousands of dollars, and they be thinking their kids are really good. You know what I mean? And they're just they're investing all this money. Yeah, my son's going to the league. He's on this travel team. Look around. You know what I mean? Like I just didn't jump. Like we didn't do no travel teams. I just was like, we gonna play. We gonna pick. We gonna be strategic in this thing. And if they really want you, you're not paying for nothing. So the only thing I paid for is myself, because I wouldn't let my son go by himself. You just gotta be strategic, because I could start running a program because of my last name, and parents that pay $1,500 to be on my team, and I may not know nothing, but we're playing on Team Parsons. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like every AAU coach, the players, they're named after them. They want to play for them. Yeah, the top team is playing for free, but y'all bottom feeders, y'all the one that's paying for it, and you're really not that good. But that's the conversation parents don't want to have. You know what I mean? So that's what I tell them. Your travel ain't that good, but you out here paying all this money. Paying all that money don't mean he's going to get to the next level. Then you're going to blame the coach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to do your homework. I hate high school coaches get blamed a lot for the kids not making it. But mom, dad, what did you do? Did you ask questions? Did you figure out some things? Because didn't no coach set up no unofficial visits for me? I called colleges. You know what I mean? To see what was going on.
Wow.
So parents just got to be smart, strategic, and and always support. But paying a bunch of money don't mean you supporting them.
Yeah, be realistic. Be realistic.
Right.
But I will tell you this, man. I will tell you this. Make sure the kid wants to do it, and he's not doing it because you're making him do it. Because if they want to do it, they're gonna try to do everything they're supposed to do. But if you're making them do it, it ain't gonna probably work out for you, man. I'm just gonna tell you, to be honest with you. You don't have to be on 7-on-7. My boys didn't do the 7-on-7 drill. I got a grandson. I'm actually missing his birthday right now to be on here, but he's got multiple offers. Hadn't done one 7-on-7. Don't do any of that. Like Mr. Parsons said, we don't even know if they got bad habits, and you put them on 7-on-7 and they just playing with bad habits instead of honing their skills and being technically sound, and then compete. The technique sound person is usually gonna win, So, but yeah, support them, but be realistic and support them. Don't go spending hundreds of thousands of dollars when you don't have to, and make sure it's the kid's decision, and not a parent, not a dad trying to live out what he didn't make through the kid.
Right.
What say you, Mr. Tony?
My advice would be you got to stay the parent. You got to stay the parent, because like Lamont and Sharon said, support your child. Your child is talented. You know what they can do. But you also got to stay the parent, because once you lose that child's ear, it's a wrap. Once you can't tell them anything, and they get the big head and other people in their ear, once you lose their ear, it's going to be a rough journey. So you always want to stay the parent where you can always watch it. They out there, they focus on football. They focus on their sport. As parents, we got to be seeing what else, all this other stuff is going on around them, and be able to say, hey, this is not good for you. I said on the last podcast we were on, I try to always tell my children, we've touched the stove. You don't have to touch the stove. Look at our hands. You can make a long ways with unburned hands if you just listen. So while you focus on sports and you focus on your grades, you're doing all that, we're looking at all the other stuff that's going on around you, trying to keep you from touching the stove. So my advice: stay the parent. Try to keep that child here as long as you can.
Yeah.
Wow.
Miss
I love
Abdullah,
that. I love that. Stay the parent. You keep their ear, because when you lose that contact, you're right. Somebody has to be their advocate. Somebody has to be their
Right.
protector.
Right.
And looking
And
for them.
if it's not you, somebody's gonna be there to say, "Hey, be in their ear," and then that it could easily go left for them.
Right. Yeah.
Miss Abdullah, can I
Parent
say
love
something
is a
to you?
different love.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
please.
So Miss Abdullah, can I say something to you? So one of the things I ran into is that we have to sometimes realize that they're growing into men, right? They're growing into men. So at the same time, we're still protectors. You know, we're gonna protect ours, but they're transitioning now. So be prepared for a little bit of that. So you know, most people say, "Oh, you're gonna have a little bit of that." They got money in their pocket, and if you want to be real about it, as athletes, we've been told what to do and when to do it all our life. Now, all of a sudden, they got a lot of money and they don't have nothing to do sometimes. So you got to adjust to that. I know one of the things me and my son, I used to have to say, "You're like, I'm gonna buy this, this, and this," and I'm like, "Man, that's crazy." Why? But then you have to realize his money's different from your money, so you got to adjust to a little bit, and they should enjoy some of the fruits of their labors for sure. But yeah, like Tony says, stay the parent, and even when you don't think they're listening, they are listening. It'll come back later, and you'll know they're listening, and they'll call you when they need some. Because all three of our boys do the same. They call us when they want to talk. So.
Now, Days, I got to ask y'all one question. Now, we say this, but I don't know it to be true. Is there really groupies or those gold diggers in the different levels?
Really, Karen?
They come after your kids.
Right. She had
them girls that parents are grooming.
We don't even got to answer that question.
Right. I just wanted you to confirm it. You know, we say it, but y'all might be experiencing, y'all be able to recognize it. Stay away from that one. Stay away from it.
You don't even have to be in the league for that to happen. That's just everyday occurrences.
That's what I'm saying. You be
That's just everyday stuff.
Mr. Parsons say, right, same last name, wrong first.
Right.
Yeah. Your stock definitely. Your stock definitely rises. I tell you.
I'm telling you, right.
And they hit young.
I was in the room one time. Nobody knew who I was, and it was cool. We was chilling. By the end of the night, somebody must have recognized or paid attention. Like, oh, that's the Bulls there. All of a sudden, here come phone numbers and everything. I'm like, no, I'm cool. Like, yeah.
I'm all right.
I tell my son all the time, I know what I go through, but you the one that's playing. I can imagine what you go through.
Right.
Wow.
That's great. Man, yeah, that's crazy. That's wild.
I mean, how do you protect them from that kind of stuff? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you say test it out, but don't get hooked. I mean, what do you guys just tell them? Because
remember this, man. They're just like they're like anybody else's son. They 20-year-old dudes. They like to do the same thing. They just got money in their pocket.
They just got money. That's the only difference. They 20. They just got money. That's it. They bank accounts.
Yeah.
That's the only difference.
Right. So they like to play video games. They like to hang out with their friends. They're gonna do 20 years, but they give up a lot too. They can't go just hang out. They can't just go to Walmart and pick up something real quick. So it's a lot that they give up that come with this. And I have to understand that. My son would have on his hood on. We going somewhere, like, why you got your hood on? You take it off and everybody run to him. So then you're like, oh man, we ain't gonna never make it out of here. So give them some grace with that kind of stuff, mama. Give them some grace, cause if you with him and you don't let him put that hoodie on, you ain't gonna make it out of wherever you at.
Can I ask if religion, if faith, and just kind of being centered in God. Has that been a part of your sons' lives to help them
Most
to?
definitely. Most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I brought my kids up in church because I know God. I know God as a savior. I know him as a provider.
Amen.
I was raised in church. And so my thing was always I got to stand before him one day. And how am I gonna say, God, you were so good to me, and you did this and did that for me? And his question be to me, why you didn't introduce those children to me?
Mm.
So I made sure they knew I
Yes.
made sure they knew who he was. My children know how to pray. They know who God was. I remember Brandon was in Kentucky. He called me once. He said, Dad, I got some stuff going on. I just need you to pray with me about this. Most definitely, we prayed right there on the phone. I never went back and asked him about it. What was it? I never asked him what was going on. I remember some time after that he came like, Dad, remember that thing we prayed for? Yeah, God fixed it. So they know how, hey, mom and dad may not can get this done, but I know who can. So they know. I made sure they plugged into him. And all my children, God has blessed them to be successful. They know who he is. They have their own relationship with him now. So yeah, most definitely, that was a big part of their upbringing.
That's beautiful.
That's good. Now, we could go on and on because I got a lot of questions, but I want to respect you guys' time. We're going to go ahead and let Big Mama do rapid fire, or would you rather just have you some little quick questions and first to laugh? And we're going to go ahead and close out. And you guys are always more than welcome to come back on the show to deal with us sports moms and hang out with us.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'll start with Nimat. What's the hardest part, time or money?
I don't think she can hear you.
Oh, and then she.
Can you hear me?
Miss Abdullah, she said, what's the hardest part, time or money?
Time.
Time. Mr. Tony, what's most stressful, games or recruiting?
Games probably, because recruiting only happens once. Games are all, yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Parson, who was harder, mom or dad?
Dad.
You want the credit. Mr. Ramsey, one word to describe your journey.
Exciting.
All right, I'll take that.
Okay.
To all of you, when was the moment that you know that this is real? My baby is about to get a check.
I answer that a lot for people. They always ask, when did you know he was going to the NFL? And I say, when they said with the 5th pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars,
Right,
I said, he made it.
right.
Oh my goodness.
Because look, they were getting a little money before they got drafted, so we really want the money thing, the check thing. It was hearing their name called on draft day. That was it.
So, Mr. Parsons, even though you may have a relationship with God and just things like that, but when Michael was going through his little issue with the people that in my city that I don't necessarily agree with, I just live here. I moved here from Louisiana, but I live in D-Town. Did you do a lot of cussing, just a little bit, or just was? Oh wait.
We talking about the trade.
Uh-huh.
I was kind of disappointed.
Come on, that's the word.
It's all about everybody try to talk about what he said. I mean, I know after 2 years, my son said, I'll take less money to stay here in Dallas. Then after the 3rd year, Mr. Jones said, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Jones was like, I ain't worried about nobody because I got to pay Michael Parsons. Then Michael said, I like to get this done before training camp start. And then here go the process. Yeah, it was a backdoor meeting, but he has an agent, And like I tell people, like at the end of the day, an owner can't do a contract with a player. You know, so whatever y'all talked about is what y'all talked about, but it's what the agent wants on paper and what's good for his client. But if you don't wait so long, that money don't have to be that high. You know, you make decisions. The final decision was y'all felt like he wasn't needed in Dallas. For the family, it's like it came full circle. You know, Lord put him in Dallas because we were Dallas fans, hard and blue, but then he got traded to the Packers. And when he started playing football, he played for the Harrisburg Packers, which was green and yellow. So for everybody around home, it's like, yo, it just came full circle. So nobody's really bitter, just disappointed that it didn't work out because everybody knows he's going to stay in Dallas, regardless of where he's playing at. You know, that's where his foundation's at now. That's where everything's at. So, because it was just disappointing, you know. Everybody got to write their own opinion, but I'm going to end it with this. Why do y'all worry about what a man's doing on his day off if he's not getting in no trouble?
Right.
And there we have it.
Right.
There we have it.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
So,
and last but not least, you got to prepare for life after the league. So if you notice, if you think back, if you look at all the great players, you very hear or see from them. But guys that's really interactive and whatever and doing their thing, look at Tom Brady, played long on TV. Boom, next year. You got to prepare now. If you don't prepare, you'll be out of the league and be non-existent.
wow.
That's good.
That's good. I mean, one of the things that we kind of talk about as far as sports becoming our kids' identity, you know, what did you do to keep a balance to them? And, you know, if they didn't play sports, do they have something else that they love to do? So they won't, you know, some of them lose their mind because they're not playing sports anymore. What about you, Miss Abdullah?
Yes. His degree is in sports management and or sports communication. So I would feel like once he's done with sports, maybe some broadcasting or maybe opening some type of sports facility for future athletes or children, etc. So yes, we've had those conversations. And he's thinking, he has that mindset.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
What about you guys? Did you guys, did you prepare him for if he didn't play football anymore? Did he have another love that he likes to do when he's not playing sports to create that balance?
With me and my son, man, we always used to say sports is not who we are, it's what we do to open the doors to the rooms we want to get in. So we use sports as a tool to network and to meet people that we otherwise wouldn't probably meet. And then, we take it from there.
That's good.
With Brandon, we could not convince him that he was not going to the league. So from the time he was 9 years old, when he first started playing football, that was his only dream. He didn't want to be nothing else, no doctor, lawyer, fireman, none of that. From 9 years old, I'm going to the league, and you could not convince him that he was not going to play in the NFL. So he put all his eggs in one basket, and God allowed it to happen for him, and he's been there 5 years now. Like Lamont said, most kids 3 or 4 years you out the league. But God has allowed him to remain around and still be talked about and still be desired on teams. So that's a blessing.
That is a blessing.
That's awesome.
It is a blessing. And, let me just caveat on this. I wanted my son to go to the Power 5 teams, but he wasn't big enough. And so did I have some unrealistic goals that I was pushing him towards something that he couldn't measure up to versus pointing him towards an HBCU school that he could have went in? My mind was on USC, and he didn't grow tall enough. So at what point, as parents, that we need to realize, even though that was his dream, but how do we set in the reality of him not growing up to be tall enough to do that? because of the measurements. How do we deal with our kids and their mental mind when they're struggling or dead set on becoming something that they don't even measure up to be?
Brandon was, out of all his college and high school friends, he's the smallest. Brandon's 5'10", weighed 180 pounds. You look at him and compare it to all his friends, you would think those guys would have been the ones that went to the league. So he's the smallest out the bunch. So I don't know. It's a tough question. Like I say, all God, he manifests that thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I would like to interject. I do think that preparation for what happens next is so important. And like you gentlemen said, just making sure that your sons know that they're more than football. You know what I mean? They play football, but they are more than football, because there are some kids that, some young men who get a chance to play in the NFL, some don't. It could be from injury. My son was injured in his junior year and senior year, and like back-to-back injuries, wrist injury, and then torn Achilles, and it changed things for him. So for me, it was important that he knew, as long as he continued on, that was all good. If he didn't make it to the NFL, that was good too. And we got that education, and he also knew that he was more than just a football player. So it seems to me that y'all have made sure that your sons knew that. But, fortunately, they got the opportunity to play in the league. But I think it's important for us all to just think about that mental aspect and making sure that the young athletes know that it's more than football,
Yeah.
All
right, you guys. Like I said, I was going to be trying to be respectful for your time. I appreciate you guys coming on the show and sharing your wisdom, your story, and your journey. I know it's going to be a blessing to so many people who are going to like and share and comment on this video. You guys go like and share and comment so we can continue to bring good conversation between parents. Like I said, I told the guys, I said, welcome to the Lioness Den. They here on the show with us moms, and we had a great time. So, guys, we appreciate it. You're more than welcome to come back and share about your nonprofits, or, if you have flyers or anything like that, you're more than welcome to shoot me an email. I'll be happy to share it on our page. And so, welcome. Tell somebody about the mamas over there got this show.
Well, I want to say something really quick.
Thank you for having me.
I want to say something really quick.
It was a pleasure.
This is a good, wholesome family show. Carson said it best. We got in the chat. Somebody said bald is beautiful. Really? Baby, we out here trying to talk about the combine. If you could stop bowing your head, then the bitch they all in the chat. I said, wait a minute, it's a good family show.
That's why. Look, that's why I got to keep the hat on. Right. I got to keep the hat on.
Right. Boy, we got groupies in the older age.
No, not on the family show. It was great talking to you guys tonight.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you all for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Yes,
And Miss
thank you,
Abdullah, we definitely wish your son all the best.
Yes.
We know that God's got him, and it's only up from here. So we'll be watching.
I'll be watching.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a Miss Abdullah. I'm a DeSoto U fan because AJ them and
okay.
So I'm down with them. So I'll be watching. I was hoping that he came to DeSoto, but he went to South Oak Hill, but that's okay anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. All right,
you guys. Good night.
Good night. Y'all have a good one.
Good night, you all.
All right.
Let's go.